Open up your Bible to Genesis. We're going over chapter 24. If you haven't read that yet, please pause here, read first, and then come back and we can take notes. Genesis 24 is actually the longest chapter in Genesis, and almost the entire thing is about finding a wife for Isaac. Abraham is getting older, and so he sends his servant back to the land where his family came from to find a wife for Isaac, rather than having him marry somebody from the surrounding Canaanite culture. And before the servant even meets anyone, he prays very specifically. He prays that not only the right woman would bring him water, but also his camel's water. And that may sound simple, but it's actually a huge amount of work. Camels can drink a surprisingly large amount of water, especially after traveling. And when Rebekah shows up and does exactly that without even being asked, it immediately gets the servant's attention. And what I noticed here is that Rebekah doesn't spend the whole chapter waiting around for something to happen. She's constantly making decisions, taking initiative, speaking up, and eventually agree to leaving her home and traveling somewhere she's never been. One thing that stands out is how much of this chapter is made up of ordinary situations. There aren't dramatic miracles happening every few verses. It's conversations, travel, prayer, hospitality, and family discussion. But throughout all of that, there's this feeling that God is working through everything before it even happens. I think it's also interesting that the servant isn't looking for someone based on their appearance, their wealth, or their status. The sign that he asked God for reveals a lot about character, like generosity, willingness to serve, and attentiveness to other people. And Rebekah's response ends up telling us a lot about her character before we even know much about her. I think this chapter is a good reminder that guidance doesn't always come from huge, unmistakable moments. A lot of this chapter is people just taking the right next step. And I also like that Rebekah is given a choice. When her family asks if she's willing to go, she says yes herself. So even though God is clearly working throughout the whole story, people are still making real decisions along the way. And honestly, some of the qualities highlighted here, kindness, generosity, reliability, are the kinds of things that can seem small in the moment, end up shaping entire futures. That's it for today. If you want to deep dive into the chapter, check out the next post. See you in the next video.